My name is Ankur Patel. I am the Director of Advancement for Hindu University of America. And today's webinar is on the Hindu contributions in the realm of mind. And there's so much. And as part of Hindu University of America, this is an important task and endeavor that we're digging into. Our panelists today are Dr. D.K. Hurry and Dr. D.K. Hemahuri, who have been on this HUA journey for a couple quarters now, started with their Exploring Hinduism for Teens and Parents, and have continued on this journey. The quarter that is just ending now, they have had a course on Hindu contributions in the realm of matter. But we know Hindu thought is at its finest in the realm of consciousness, spirituality, mind sciences, and the delicate relationship between the subtle world of the spirit and manifest material world. There's so much that we're going to get into in this one webinar. It's just going to be the tip of the iceberg because there's just so much to it. Let me give Drs. Hurry a quick introduction and we can get started. So I've had the pleasure of working, as I said, with the Hurries for a few quarters now, and it's amazing to see that this couple who met back, I guess, in university at Sri Sri University, and then started the Bharatnyan initiative in civilizational studies back in 2000. And they've done so much work in terms of an interdisciplinary approach to researching from a Hindu perspective, providing an integrative narrative on the Hindu civilization. And they're doing a lot of work and being published and associated with the Art of Living, with Hindu University of America, their own endeavor with Bharatnyan. And it's my pleasure to have them join us today and share with us what they are working on and what they're going to be presenting in this webinar and in the course. Drs. Hurry, let me hand it over to you. Your camera is off. Maybe we are having a little, there we go, yes.
Thank you, Ankur, for the very nice introduction. It's our pleasure to take part in yet another webinar with the Friends of Hindu University America. And as Ankur rightly said, we have already conducted 3 courses for 3 quarters for Hindu University America. And this is the 4th edition that we are meeting up. And today we'll be in the subject of the webinar is something very new and different. Hindu contributions to the world have been many. What we have done here is we have sort of set it in 2 formats. One is Hindu contribution to the world in the realm of matter, which is what we did as a course 2 quarters ago. And now on Hindu contribution to the world in the realm of mind. Because when you look at it, it's mind and matter, the 2 halves. And so one half is matter, the other half is mind. So now we'll be talking about the next hour or so on some glimpse on the Hindu contribution to the realm of mind.
But before we go there, we would really like to start this session with an invocation. And Ankur, can you, allow us to share our screen?
Yeah, you can definitely share screen.
Thank you so much. So for the next hour, we'll be getting into the Hindu contributions to the world in the realm of mind. And which other divinity can we invoke at the start of this session other than Sri Ganesha himself? So with a small shloka, let us start. Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakareshu Sarvada. So this is a very, very common and popular shloka for the divinity Ganesha. And you may wonder, what has this particular divinity got to do and why are we invoking this divinity today? And why have the Hindus been invoking this divinity almost at the start of all events, all
Auspicious.
occasions, for everything, and prayers before they start something? They've been invoking this divinity because he is a divinity who has to do with the mind. The power of the Hindu mind not only lies in what it has been able to do, but also how it has been able to conceptualize a divinity for the mind itself, and given these this shape, this form, this attribute, this name for this divinity. So we want to quickly take you through a few minutes of how the Hindus have depicted mind itself and the power of this mind, and how to win over the mind with the divinity Ganesha. So let's just get started. We will be showing you, uh, uh, small sections from various of our capsules, as we call it. Our compilation, actually, we Ankur gave a brief introduction, and what we have been doing in Bharatnyan is has been to compile the knowledge of India, the knowledge about India, and while knowledge we all know is a very integrated aspect, uh, for the ease of convenience. Today we have sciences, economics, and different
Humanities.
subjects, history, geography, and all that. So we have also classified it into different topics, which we call capsule. And we'll walk you through a few capsules that are relevant. Those who have taken our courses, like Vishaka ji, who just came on a little while ago, they are familiar with how we walk them through various capsules. So today we'll just walk you through a little bit of Ganesha and then go on to the mind. So Ganesha, we're all very familiar with this image of Ganesha with an elephant face, with a Vahan, or mount, a mouse as its mount. So how can we understand Ganesha?
So you see, look at the word Gana plus Isha. The Isha means master of. So he's Gana. And what is the word Gana here come to imply? Multitude, numbers, people. That's why it is Gana Duta. So Gana. Also, the word Gana has another meaning. Because Gana and Gana has the meaning of weighty. We look at both.
Gana means hordes, which is why a republic, a nation, which is also a republic, that is, which is ruled through democracy, is also called a Gana Tantra. Tantra meaning the
Techniques.
technique or the way, the application. So where the people rule, it's called Gana Tantra. Hordes, people, Gana. And the moment you say hordes, it automatically means many and numbers.
Look at this. She explained the word Ganatantra. For example, in India, when you have the August 15th Independence Day, it is the Swatantra Divas. Okay. So when you get independence, but what you call the January 26th Republic Day, you call it Ganatantra Divas in the Indian languages because of the numbers, the people, the horde. So look at the beautiful concept it's got from the term Ganesha to that. So, and let's see how it's all intertwined with the mind.
Because again, mind, Gana goes, when you say hordes and people, the next thing that comes to mind is mind. Because the word people or human, it is another derivative from the word man. Man meaning mind, manas, which is mind again. And humans are known for their minds as compared to all the other creatures
In
on
the
the
animal
world, in
kingdom.
the animal kingdom. It is the humans who are uniquely characterized by their minds. And this Ganesha, look at him, he has got so many names. One is Gajanana because he has got an elephant face. Gaja means elephant. Vignesha, because he's a remover of obstacles, right? We'll see why do these obstacles arise. Look at another name, Ganapati. Gana again, Pati means one who is a master, a leader. And so Ganapati, a leader of hordes, groups of people. Vinayaka, Vinay means to guide, to lead, to spread, right? So look at this word Vignesha, Vinayaka. They both denote the aspect of mind to guide you as well as create obstacles for you. Not only does your mind guide you, but your mind is your first biggest obstacle. Once you surmount your mind, it is the mind that creates fears in you about and creates the obstacle. The obstacle is really not the obstacle, it's your mind which is the main obstacle. And that is why you pray to Ganesha before you start anything. So when you say Vakratunda and you say, please give me the good guidance to.
When you say Shloka Vakratunda, that's what she meant.
So guide me and lead me to success in all the acts that I do. So that is why Ganesha and mind and the face of an elephant, because it's the elephant which is linked with the mind and the intellect. If you look at all living beings, all the mammals, even though the blue whale is the largest, in comparison to the size of the body mass and the mass of the brain, the proportion is, the ratio is much higher in an elephant. So they have, our ancestors have rightly chosen an elephant to depict this mind. And this mind is never still, it is constantly wavering. So if you see an elephant also, its head will always be shaking, its trunk will be moving, it is never still. So look at all the beautiful ways in which they have conceptualized and depicted this mind. And from this Gana, which and Ganesha, which depicts the hordes, it is very, very closely linked with maths as well. And you get the word Ganitam. So Ganitam for maths also has a link with Gana, Ganesha, and the whole aspect of numbers. After all, what are numbers? But they just denote multitude. They denote the manyness in the universe. They denote the diversity in the universe. They denote that the universe is full of many things. It is not just one thing. And that is denoted by this Ganesha. And you need that intellect to be able to discern. See, all the Vinaya, the V means to penetrate and discern the diversity in this universe, which is in the form of numbers. So Ganitam has been, so while our ancestors have really done an exemplary depiction of mind and a divinity for this mind. See, fundamentally, it is not just the expression of the human mind that they have used Ganesha for. They have actually depicted the mind and the consciousness of the universe itself, the intellect that is there in the universe itself, the subtler aspect also with Ganesha. So, which is why he is also very, very closely linked with the Veda. So, he is also the master for the Veda. And he is, therefore, he is also called Brahmanaspati, which means he is also the Lord for the knowledge, the consciousness, and Vak. So, from here starts our journey into the realm of mind and the Hindu contributions in the realm of mind. You all would have come across, especially in recent times. See, when we started in 2000, like Ankurji just said, we
Our
started.
journey of Bharatnyan, of understanding this knowledge of the civilization, relishing the knowledge of the civilization, and finding out for our own selves. It's been a journey for the last 20 years for us in Bharatnyan. We did various aspects like this, interesting small aspects, and then we sort of cumulatively added it together to make what Bharatnyan is today. In that, look at, from this, having said this maths, let's look at one primary aspect of maths where mind has had a huge role to play.
And today, it's very common. Today, we see information that says, oh, India contributed maths, numbers, decimal system, zero, and everything to the world. But the fundamental question is, how and why did they conceptualize these numbers? How come they manage? How come this civilization managed to conceptualize zero? For because if you look at it, you have none other than Einstein, Albert Einstein, acknowledging and saying, we owe a lot to the Indians who taught us how to count, without which no worthwhile scientific discovery could have been made. So he is acknowledging this. And what he is actually also talking about are the numbers zero and the decimal systems.
And look, we have sort of very purposefully shown Einstein in this form of a zero, so that to sort of bring this aspect of science and spirituality together, and how the mind has played a big role, especially. So let's look at a small story, the story of zero. Okay, this is a simple story over a few slides. We'll see how this aspect of zero, the Indian Hindu mind devised it. They sort of understood it, devised it, relished it, and then shared it with the world. This is just one sample we're taking.
See, we will be using this word relish often because the very word for the civilization, the Bharat civilization, itself means to relish knowledge. Bharata. Rata means to relish. That is why you have the consort of the
Manmada.
of the equivalent of Cupid in Hindu thought, which is Kama. So Kamadeva and his consort is Rati. Kama is desire and Rati is one who is pleasurable to look at. So for desire, you have the consort as one who is pleasurable. So Rati, Rata means to relish. And Bha means knowledge because it comes from the root Bha, Bhaskara, that
Bhanumati.
which throws light, that which makes light.
Radiates light. So light there is related to knowledge. It's sort of knowledge to light. That's why you say tamasoma jyotirgamaya. So from darkness lead me to light. So when you say that, so Bhaskara means light. So
Because Bhaskara is another name for the sun. So
because it radiates light. So that's how we got the civilization itself, got the name Bharat, a land which relishes knowledge. Instantly, we have two short films on this. Those who want can later watch it in the Bharatnyan YouTube channel. So we'll now get on to zero.
We'll show you where we have all the tidbits of information that you can relish. We'll do that towards the end of the session. Now we'll look at this interesting story of zero.
Because this is one of the greatest achievements of the mind, the concept of zero. And when did India share this with the world? That's an important point. Let's look at this. Now, when you see that, the zero is a very funny number, very interesting number. When it was shared with the Western world for the first time about 500 years ago, what did they say? If you put something, so if you put 0, 3, then this 0 has no value. But if you put 3, 0, it's got all the value. And more zeros you add after, it's even more powerful. So for them, for 500 years back, one, this was incomprehensible, but yet powerful. Because there was a place digit factor there. And zero played an immense part in that. See, at some place it meant nothing, at some place it meant everything. That's what it was. So what was this was a big enigma then, which is why a French writer about 500 years back, he wrote in French, he says this is a sign which creates confusion and difficulties. That's what he said. Okay, about this number which we came up with our mind, which is what we shared with the world. And at that same time, there was a lot of resistance to zero. Look at this. Because they couldn't understand it, what did they call it? They called it the work of the devil. And others ridiculed it. That's what happened really for over a century. And very few could actually understand zero then, as recently as 500 years back. Especially in Europe, which was coming out of the Dark Ages then, just about the time of Renaissance. So anybody who understood zero became a very profound man of wisdom, a great scholar, because it developed a profound significance, because it had a lot of contradictions within it. That's what happened. So what happened was, and finally, there was this particular match, which is brought out in this painting called Arithmetic. Okay, this painting where it says, look at this. This is called Arithmetic, arithmetic, where the person from south is warm, so his clothes are more open, and here a person from the north, where his clothes are cold, uses the abacus board, whereas it's the Indian numerals which comes with the zero. And it is this that actually wins over about 500 years back. It's a famous painting for arithmetic. Look at this painting because we just touched it up. And it was the year 1543. See, VDMIE 1543. The acceptance of zero in Europe came about. So it's one of the great contributions of the Hindu Indian mind to the world. From whence on, various aspects of science just started opening up, one blossoming to the other. That's what happened. That was a big kickoff point. And here this is in the International Encyclopedia of Communication. It says, while Europe was
introduced these numbers, it was through the Arab traders who brought them from India. So though they were having idea about the numbers 1 to 9, they could not understand zero, as it affected considerably all of their thinking processes. Their concept of number was only associated and imbibed with counting, calculation, and quantification. See, this is a very, very important line you must see. Moreover, their calendar had never any zero year. That itself is an evidence that they did not know about the concept of zero, though they claim that their calendars start from BCE. They considered zero as an intellectual obstacle.
So when the world could overcome this obstacle of zero, what happened? Many aspects of science opened up. All windows of science opened up. That was the cut-off big thing for progress of world science. And this is one of the great contributions of the Hindu world, of the Hindu mind. And many people have mentioned about it. Each one has said it in their own way. Halstead has said it. Because he says this is the one go-to intelligence and power, because the importance of creation of zero mark can never be exaggerated. No single mathematical creation has been more potent for the general on-go of the intelligence and power. Like this, each one I've said, but we're not going to go in that. This is going to do in the course, but let's look at how the zero itself traveled from India to Europe. In Sanskrit, it's called Shunya. The word Shunya, this traveled from India to Arabia, it becomes Sifr. From there to the Latin word, it becomes Sifra, Zephram. From there to the French, it becomes Sefer, Zifro, Zever, Zypher in German, and finally in English becomes zero. So look at the way how the word, the concept, the meaning, and the phonetics of it traveled across centuries, across lands, across continents, from Shunya to become zero. This is one big contribution of the Hindu thought to the world. This is we have seen in the field of maths. Like this, through the course that we're going to do over the next 3 months, we'll look at different interesting aspects. Just a snippet we have shown you here. We'll take one more snippet.
Yeah, but before that, want to draw your attention to the phrase that we are using, Hindu thought, the contribution of the Hindu thought. Why are we saying that zero is a contribution of the Hindu thought? Because if you go back, you can trace this zero, the idea of zero, all the way back to the Veda. So in the Veda, especially this zero, you relate it with the concept of creation itself. People who have done the course exploring Hinduism with us, they would have seen this in detail about the story of the process of creation, where the Hindu thought, we think that it is only modern science which has given us the idea of the cosmic egg and the Big Bang. But you will find that the Veda, which were composed many millennia ago, with its last edition or last recompilation having been done 5,100 years ago. So that was the last recompilation or edit. So the composition was much, much earlier. Nobody can date when. And at that time itself, they have spoken about a similar concept of a cosmic egg, which is called the Hiranya Garbha. And they call this Hiranyagarbha as something which is just a glow. It is not there yet there. And it is from this Hiranyagarbha, a golden hued womb, from which the whole universe comes out because of a explosion of the Hiranyagarbha. And they actually go into detail. We normally say, see, we have this, especially in India, people say whenever a modern scientific discovery is made, we say that, oh, this is there in our Hindu thought. But in with respect to creation, we have always been saying that here is an example where the Hindu thought is far ahead of uh, what the modern science is currently grappling with. Because today we are in modern science, we are still trying to understand all the experiments with the Fermi lab in the Fermi laboratories and in CERN. We are still trying to find out what happened immediately after the Big Bang. How did the universe get created? How did matter come into being? But the Hindu thought in the Veda has asked the question, what caused the Big Bang itself? What caused the explosion to happen? So here is something where there is a lead, a very, very concrete. See, it's okay to give a motherhood statement saying we have, in so many things, we have got a lot of information, but here there is a very concrete lead that tells you that here is something that we can follow up. And
on this subject, we have made a series of short films called Creation. It is there in our YouTube channel. You can see, because today's webinar, since it's just an hour, we'll not be able to take in all these aspects. So we're just giving you tidbits here and there for you to go further and take in. Because when she said about the Big Bang, some of you who are hearing us for the first time will say, what is this? Is this possible? Yes, indeed. There is a full book called Creation that we've written, and we have discussed this with CERN Geneva, as well as there's a series of films we've made. So please check it out where to see this. The key point why she came to mention this is the Hiranyagarbha, the golden womb, or the cosmic egg is. Have any of us wondered to think, why is it we gave this shape to zero?
the shape of a circle.
The shape of actually
just the outer rim. It's not a solid circle. It's just a empty circle, actually.
Actually, look at the zero. The original zero in the Bakshali manuscript, ancient Kashmiri thought is only a dot. From that, when the Arabs took it, they expanded it to a slightly larger dot, a zero. But originally in Hindu thought, it's just a dot. Bindu, what you call bindu, a dot. Why did we come up with the dot is the question.
It's
That
because
is the mind.
it is this Hiranyagarbha, which is what helped the Hindus conceptualize the idea of nothingness, but a nothingness
From which
is
everything comes.
everythingness as well. See, that is why you see zero, when you put it before a number, it is nothing. But after the number, it is everything. It keeps on adding weight. The more and more you add zeros, it becomes heavier and heavier. So this idea of a zero is not nothing. It is actually everything. Because in this zero, and when the zero comes, it comes before one. So look at the parallel. So from this idea of maths itself, it leads you into the realm of the subtle, where the one, the universe, the cosmos itself is created from that nothingness.
So
and
the mind has thought of this, the Indian mind, Hindu mind has thought of this, visualized it, and given it a shape. What is its shape? The shape of this dot, zero. So in this course, Hindu contributions to the world in the realm of mind, we'll be looking at right from this origin source to all the way each aspects of mind that have developed and which we have been nice to share with the world at large over centuries and millennia to different countries, both east and west, north, south, everywhere we shared this. That is what this civilization has done. This is what we'll be looking at in each session. We'll be looking at in detail. Now we look at one more aspect that the Hindu mind has contributed to the world. Again, of course, in the full course, we're doing a lot more detail. Here, I'll just take a snippet.
so from zero, which is the power of zero and its contribution, let us now look at the immensity of the contribution from the Hindus. Because this zero, and we spoke about creation and the Big Bang, what naturally comes out of this Big Bang? But nothing in today's modern thought, we call it the CMBR, cosmic microwave background radiation. And what have the Hindus called it? We have called it the Om. Because this cosmic microwave background radiation, CMBR, the scientists say that it is found everywhere in the world. It is something that originated from the, I'm sorry, not world, the universe, correct? And it is something that originated with the Big Bang. And what do we say originated with the Brahmanda Visfotak of the Hiranyagarbha?
The word Visfotak here, when she said, means explosion. Visfot, explosion. So Brahmanda, universal. So it's a universal explosion is the Brahmanda Visfotak. This subject we have dealt with in our other course when we did the last quarter, exploring Hinduism for teens and parents. We've done this there. So it's there.
But we'll be touching upon these aspects as we need for this particular course as well. But because every concept, as you see, is linked and they all go back, if you see, to the origin, the source.
It's not just linked, but intertwined. It's all a beautiful mesh.
And this CMBR we have called as Om. So the radiation, the sound, not necessarily as what you can hear always, but also as the electromagnetic radiation, the wave, the spectrum of electromagnetic radiation. And the waves, we call it, we've always been calling it Om. And there is a very, very interesting story to this Om as well.
We look at that actually.
Because this Om is also one of the interesting contributions of the Hindu mind to the world. And this has shaped many religions. While zero shaped sciences, Om, the story of Om has shaped religions.
Yes, it is a positive, it is certainly positive, yes. This CMBR. Actually, we made 2 short films on this. It's available in our YouTube channel. Those who want to further can certainly see it. It's there. So let's look at now the idea of Om. Let's look at Om now. It's very interesting actually. When we did this, we were amazed. We were zapped by it when we did this about 20 years ago. It's mentioned in our book, Creation. You can certainly read it there. Creation Srishti Vijnana. It's there in our book. See, when you say Om.
Just one point here. I think in a way we were quite fortunate to have started work more or less very early on the Hindu idea of creation, because that could give us a good perspective and handle on many of the other things from the Hindu world.
So let's look at Om. See, so we normally say it's the primordial sound, the sound that came with creation. It's the first breath of the universe. It's an echo of the Big Bang. It's a vibration of existence. It's also a Hindu symbol. But it's got a lot more layers to it. There are thousands of meanings. We're not going to go into the source of Om because that we'll do in the course. We just look at the journey of Om. See the 4 aspects. We'll not look at the 3 aspects. We'll look at only journey of Om, just short bit for this webinar. The other things we'll be dealing with in the course. Om. If you look at this symbol Om is from very Hindu thought from India, 3000 BC, 4000 BC, 5000 BC, and long before that, many millennia before that, we've been having this Omkar. Now, this has obviously traveled all over the world. Do you know where? Actually, this was told to us not by us, by an Egyptian. He told us, as an Egyptologist, told us that's what went to the Temple of Amun. Look at the word Amun. It's in Karnak, Thebes, and in 2500 BC, that's about 4500 years back. See, actually, we visited this temple there about 20 years back. This Temple of Amun He said this word Om became Amun in the Egyptian civilization. And parallelly, the word Om became Omega in the Greek civilization. Look at this Om shape and the Omega shape. The uppercase Omega and Om. Look at this. It's like our Trishul shape. It's got that. Very similar in shape. So it went to the Greek civilization and became Omega. Look at this for angular velocity. This is about 1000 BC. That's 1500 years after the Egyptian civilization. It went there as Omega. And from Egypt, again, let's come back to Egypt, the Temple of Amun. Look at the term Om, Amun. From Amun, the Temple of Amun, this concept of Om, actually the Temple of Amun was later converted into a church. It's now a church there.
There's an alcove here.
There's alcove for, and Jesus was said to have come there and spent 7 years in Egypt. So from there, this idea went to Rome, Vatican, and from Amun, it became Amen. Look at this. So Om to Amun, Amun to Amen. And the same Amun going across the Red Sea, across the Suez Canal, eastwards became Amin. And from this Omega, from Greece, it became Omni, encompassing everything, omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscience. This came about 800 years ago. Look at this, how this beautiful concept of the Big Bang, the echo of the Big Bang, the first sound that was heard, Om, the first one created, not just heard, the first one created a universe. How the Hindu mind, the Hindu thought, the Indian thought has visualized it, has heard it, not just in the ear, but in the mind, to dhyana meditation, and shared it with the world, first primarily with the Egyptian civilization, the Greek civilization, and from there on how it has spread and has become the basic symbol for those religions as well. Because every time a Christian says a prayer, he says Amen. Similarly, the Muslims, they say Amin. Look at this. So Omega there and Omni. So look at how this word Om has spread. This is there. We already made this. It's in our book Creation, more details, and also in our short films you can watch. So this is another big contribution of the Hindu thought, which is not spoken about at all by anybody. This is a beautiful idea, the Om. That's why my wife here, she used it. It's an immense idea. Oh, thank you, Manohar Lal Dwivedi ji. Thank you so much. So kind of you to say that. So, see, let's not get into the spelling of whether it's AUM in English or OM in English. That's not the focus. The focus is the sound that is heard in the mind is what we're getting down to. The English translation of the word, either AUM or OM, we're not getting at all into. That's a different discussion.
The sound that is heard in the mind and the idea that it evokes
That
of the cosmic Big Bang, the source of creation. That is why you see even the Christians and the Islams have chosen this word, because it is to do with the creator. For them, the creator and Amen are connected. Here again, Amin is connected with creator. Om is connected with the creation, process of creation.
Everything.
So look at it is not just the word or the sound or the syllable or its pronunciation, but more importantly, when you talk about contributions in mind, it is also the associations that it makes. So it is associated with creation or the creator.
So this is a thought we'll be discussing in detail as part of the course. It will be a full session we'll be discussing only on the concept of Om and how it's sort of traveled in different parts of the world. And it's a beautiful concept. Each time we discuss it, it is wonderful. Thank you, Sheilaji. Yes, it is certainly yes. So that's we'll discuss that. Now we have shown you two very fundamental basic aspects of one is the number 0, how it came from the Big Bang. Not pre-Big Bang, it was before, because after the Big Bang, the shape Hiranyagarbha is not there because it's broken open. So the number 0 is what you visualize.
It is the potential of the universe.
The whole,
zero.
The whole universe is there inside it. All the numbers are there inside it. So that's how we deciphered it. Next, when the Big Bang happens, when the spewing of the universe happens, what is it you get along with it? The sign, the symbol, not just a symbol, the sound of Om, the Omkara. That's why you call it Omkar. Omkar Nath. You have Omkar, isn't it? So that is the Omkara. So that is also what we visualized, not visualized with the eye, but with the whole senses, with our Indriya, the five senses, and shared it with the world. So that is the second aspect looking at here.
So another thing is we didn't stop there. We also gave infinity to the world, Ananta. But we will have to hold on to it,
We'll discuss
because
in the
1
course.
hour is not enough to speak about so many things. But we will go on to the next interesting aspect, though, which is a lasting taste of this contribution, though in matter.
Which is what we dealt with in the earlier quarter that we did for the course for Hindu contribution to the world in the realm of matter. So we're going to deal we're going to sort of mix and show you how between matter and mind. So the story of sugar. See, when we say story of sugar, I want to say one thing very clearly here. Look at this. All of you know sugar is sweet, isn't it? It's a sweetener of the world. So it's a contribution of India to the world. But for India, there's Hindu thought there's no sugar for the world. That's one. We deal with it in detail in that course. Okay. But the story of sugar is actually very bitter. Very, very bitter. When the sugar is sweet, the story of sugar is bitter. This we are dealt with in almost a quarter of our book, Brand Bharat, made in India. That's available there. You can see it there. But we'll discuss with just idea of how sugar also is a very old product. It's actually granules that comes from, it's made here in India. It's a very Hindu thought. We'll see how it is. People record it to 3,000, 4,000 years and go back, sugar cane, all that. But if you see, this is sweet spread. I'll just take, do I have some time? How much time we have?
Only 15 minutes.
We have 15 minutes. We'll just see, look at sugar, how it spread the world over. See, in Indian thought, it's called Sharkara, meaning granules.
Gravel-like, like sand.
Sandy. Okay. That word, when went to Persia, what did it become? Shakar. Then Arabia became al-sukar. Then in Spanish it became azúcar. Latin saccharum. Zucchero. Zucker. Sukar. Sugar. See how again we saw how zero traveled from shunya to sifar to zero. Then we saw how Om traveled from Om to Amun to Amen, Amin, Omega, Omni. Here we're seeing how Sharkara traveled.
To become sugar.
The product, sugar, Sharkara became sugar. So it traveled all over the world. That's what we're seeing here. Like this, the different aspects. This is in the realm of matter. Similarly, this is in the realm of mind. Let's look at this. So this is another aspect. Now let's look at one more aspect.
So like this, if you see, there in the realm of mind itself, there are many, many, many things we have given to the world. It is countless. And if you look at it, it is right from in Ayurveda, there are many path-breaking ideas that we have shared with the world. And vaccines and horse breeding itself. So when we say vaccines, we are not talking about the production of Covishield, Covaxin, and all those things of today, but we are going back to the idea of inoculation itself. And we trace it back to how it was practiced by the Hindus, how the British themselves have acknowledged that it is a practice from the Hindus and how it has traveled.
Inoculation, because that was the earlier term. Now it's vaccination, because the word vaccination comes from the Latin word for cow, which is vacca, because that is go vasuri. So it's from the cowpox. So that's how the word vaccination came, which we'll deal all details. So here we already saw from Om to Amen to Amun. You've seen that. And then you've seen vaccination, horse breeding, then Ayurveda. So there's so many path-breaking aspects of Ayurveda, which find now in modern allopathy, in modern medicine, it's spread all over the world. But fundamentally,
see, we are wont to hear, especially many of you, in the US as well, would be exposed to the idea with people talking about the Aryan invasion and lot of work being done today to debunk this particular idea, and students in India have learned about it for many years. Unfortunately,
been
yes.
taught, not learned, unfortunately, been taught about it.
And one of the core ideas has been that the Aryans came with their horses. They came on horseback. But with this idea about horse breeding being an idea which has been a contribution from the Hindu land to the world, we show that this idea of horses were there in India for many millennia ago itself. And that itself throws the Aryan invasion idea out
of the window totally. Because when the one point that the Aryan invasion theorists, what we call the AIT theorists, hold is about the bringing horse. And here we can be able to prove the counterpoint that horse breeding was an idea that the Hindus taught, the Indians taught the world. Then even that is totally removed. So they can't even say they brought horses to India, because there's a facts for that. So that was again a lot of mind was involved in that. Why mind was involved? Why the trot of a horse was involved? We'll discuss that in the course. And about who are the people we show with the horse face, the two gods, the twins, Ashwini twins. We'll discuss that in the course. Similarly, you got other aspects like algebra.
So philosophy, spirituality, how this has shaped world thought. And like we said, number 0 to infinity, we'll see the entire decimal system, and how we had given unique numbers for every power, exponential power of 10 and so on, how we had various systems, and also concepts of mathematics like algebra, geometry, the names also, the names algebra, the name geometry, the name trigonometry, and the idea of calculus. When you talk about integration and differentiation, how do you understand this integration and differentiation? And how does this stem from the Hindu idea itself? It's a beautiful integration or blend that you can see in science and spirituality coming in calculus through the idea of integration and differentiation. And the Fibonacci, Meru, people only talk about the Egyptian pyramids, but we have traced more than 42 pyramids. And why are they called pyramids? What was the original name? Where all are they found? And why were they created? And from there on, how is it linked to the Hindu idea of maths? So in Hindu idea, maths, Meru, and the idea of mantra, yantra, tantra, that itself is a triangle. The mantra, tantra, yantra itself is a triangle.
Triad. Actually, there's a short film we have on this triad. Please watch it.
All of this is part of the course material. We'll be showing you a snippet of that. So that then how the Hindu thought has been an inspiration for Mendeleev's periodic table, Maslow's management, the model of hierarchical model for human behavior. Then very interesting, from moral fables and rhymes to all the way to kissing and Kama Sutra, you can find the whole gamut of thoughts and concepts in the Hindu land, which have also made their way across and become popular.
You see, kissing is a very Indian idea. Have you ever thought of it? We discussed it in an article. It's there in an article. You can see it like that. We took at each aspect. It's wonderfully very different.
Fundamentally, when we say, world over, you can't say kissing started in India, but you can trace the history of kissing in very far back to the Indian thought. Then alphabets and the 7 notes in music. Why do we have Sarigama Padani and the Do Re Mi? They're so similar. Even today, you can notice that the similarity. Where else? It's not just Do Re Mi, but in music of various lands and alphabets itself.
I'm sure all of you would have heard the famous film Sound of Music. It was about 40-50 years ago. And all of you would know the song Do Re Mi Fa Sol La Ti. Okay, Do, a deer, female deer. So that gives you the Saptaswara of the Western notes. Similarly, the Saptaswara of Indian notes. What's the connect between these two? How did it flow? How did the Hindu-Indian mind share it? That's another interesting aspect. Similarly, if you look at alphabets, all of us know the alphabets.
Yeah. So then there is the, you will be surprised, even education system has gone from India. Today, Indians complain that we have been suffering under the English education system, but the English took the education system from India. And from there, it went on to the to Americas as the Lancastrian system of education. That's a very, very beautiful story. I mean, it's beautiful and has a bitter story as well, because the native Indian Hindu system of education was squashed to bring back the morphed system of education. Then swastika, the meridians. You'll be amazed at how good they were at navigation, and therefore, and that navigation was supported
Yes.
by the science of meridians, timekeeping.
Yes, Raghavanji will be dealing with one course on, of course, on swastika, certainly, yes. And yes, we'll be
In fact, each of these is going to be a session, one full session in the course. And yeah, it was not just only work, but we also had lots of fun. So sports and board games. There were many games that you can attribute to the Hindu thought. Stadia, the concept of stadia. We always talk only about the Roman stadium and the Olympic stadium, but you'll be surprised at the world's most ancient stadium, which is there in India. And
in near Dholavira in Gujarat. Really. Yes, one other friend has said about women will do a better job. Certainly, yes. As you can see here, it's Dr. Hema who's doing most of the talking, most of the explanation, and all this. So she's prepared all the slides, the content.
That's because men are lazy enough and leave the work to the women.
No. It is, but for the Shakti is important in carrying out any job. Without Shakti, there is no Shiva.
But without the inputs and I mean, okay, it's a very complex relationship. Let's not get into that now.
Yes, any relationship is complex, even more this one. Okay. Similarly, there are mindsets.
See, why is this relevant? Okay, why are we wanting to share what we found about these contributions of the Hindu thought? Is there any relevance at all today? Because if you see really, as you look through every of these contributions, you will understand that fundamentally there is a major paradigm shift in the way the Hindus have thought. And what is the paradigm shift? And what is the shift that can be taken for application today to help us overcome whatever obstacles that we face in our current daily lives in terms of larger concepts as well. So these are some kind of paradigm shifts that can be triggered and inspired. At one point in time, close to the early 1900s, Mendeleev was inspired by the Hindu thought to create the periodic table. And while yes, it was a very great invention, and a couple of the early 1900s actually brought about a lot of inventions in modern science, which in a way created a topsy-turvy situation for the world. And so what are the other inspirations we can gain today to have some paradigm shifts? We can't undo things and we have to move forward. What else can we take forward?
She said one very nice thing about the Mendeleev's table. That's a very important point, because chemistry today is fundamentally based on the periodic tables, isn't it? Much of chemistry. So that's something, and Mendeleev got the spark, the inspiration from Shiva Sutra. This we mentioned in our book. It will be dealing with it in detail. We went to the room where he stayed and wrote all that. So that's there. And similarly, there's a question here about snake ladders and board games. Yes, we made 2 short films on it. Please see it. It's there in our book also, Brand Bharat. And it's called Paramapadam is the name of the game. Played in Deep South and in Maharashtra, Sandhyaneshwar, popular a lot more. So it's certainly there.
So like this, there are countless contributions that have been made to the world, both in the realm of matter and mind. We covered a few during an earlier course. Now we'll be covering about the mind in this course, and we'll be repeating these courses every quarter on and off. But fundamentally, what we have to, the reason we are doing this is many of these have been unknown. They have not been acknowledged. They have gone unacknowledged. They have gone uncherished by the Hindus themselves because they've never known about these. And therefore, they have been unowned. So we have to now start owning them, acknowledging them, and more importantly, take a leaf out of these to see how we can apply them today and in the different realms in which we can apply them to move forward, uh, going from here on.
Dr. Hema has very clearly said, very nicely said, from unknown to unowned. Because if we do not know that it is ours, we cannot own it. Only when we know, we can own it. Only when we own it, we can tell others, yes, it is ours. We have happily shared it with all. So that, because people think of only India gave A, B, C, D. No, we got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, L, M, N, O, P, Q, all that we are given, and how, when, by which route, which day, how did it, all the details we'll be discussing this course.
And only when you own it will you imbibe it to be able to rightfully apply it. When I say rightfully, in both sense, rightfully in the correct manner, and also rightfully as a Hindu or an Indian, you can apply this particular knowledge and share it with the world as well.
And here's the one question asked about Siddhis. Yes, we did deal about Siddhis a lot in one of our earlier courses. We'll certainly be dealing with it once again. Siddhis, yes, we'll deal with, because instantly, the land of Americas was known as Siddhapura in our Puranas. We'll be dealing with that when we deal about the meridian. Yes, we'll be dealing about it.
So fundamentally, we are going to discuss more in detail about all of these aspects in a course in the spring from April 10th to June 20th. That will be on Saturdays and Sundays, mornings, US time, roughly 10 weeks and about 20 sessions. But what we have actually done is we've put together reading material, which is about 1,196 pages. And we didn't know how to just stop. There's so much and everything we wanted to share, but
we have put it especially for this course from our different books. We brought it all in one place together as course material for those who take up the course. So you have a one window where you can see all these things. That's what you've done. Okay. But others who want to read it at their own leisure at their time, our books are available, Brand Bharat and Breaking the Myths in the Autobiography of India series, which you can go read. Certainly, yes. And there was another question asked about the films. Yes, all these films are available in our Bharatnyan YouTube channel. Since there are about 400 plus films, it will be sometimes difficult to navigate to all of them. For those doing the course, within your course material itself, the relevant films are placed in the relevant course dates. That's also been done. This is for the ease of those who take the course alone.
So like here is the table of contents for the book. It's an online book. People who have taken our courses will be familiar. We have extracted from our existing books those pages which are relevant for this topic, like instance for Ayurveda. And here we have taken a lot from our book Leads from India in our Brand Bharat series. And so that you know where we are getting it from in case you want to see the entire book. And this is about, so you can keep reading about the various, see all the various instruments, the surgical procedures that were done, and how our Ayurvedic, the physician's oath and the Hippocrates oath, how similar they are, literally word for word, and so many such other aspects. And like we said about vaccines and horse breeding, we get into the Ashwini twins and as well as horse breeding itself. The story of vaccines again, which go back to the times of inoculation in India, then Om to Amun. This again is another thing. Then numbers, the mathematical maths, numbers 0 to infinity, for instance. This is
what we deal. If you look at the logo of Bharat Gyan, actually, if you look at the logo of Bharat Gyan, it's very interesting. If you look at the logo, okay, look at this logo here. Look at this. On the top, you have 0. Here you have infinity, and here you have the Hiranyagarbha, the Big Bang, as in the shape of a bell. Grantamani, which is called the bell. It's again a very Hindu contribution to the world, because today you have church bells chiming, but the bell Grantamani is a very Hindu Indian thought to the world.
And the those bell. Arms of that man actually represent the waves, Om waves, navigating. So from 0 to infinity, and everything in between, starting from the Hiranyagarbha and the Om that radiated with its explosion as the universe was created. So that is what the knowledge of India really represents. And so that is what we would like to share with you.
So all these things are available, which we'll be dealing with step by step, slowly in this course. All these points are there, as we said.
And for each of these, we have also put them up as films for you in the course. So like instance, Om to Amen, Amun. So the Big Bang Theory, what it is.
All these are films. Somebody asked about the films. Yes, these films are there.
So we have a CERN scientist who had collaborated with us while making the film. So how she explains the echo of the Big Bang and so on. So you will have, so for every day's topic, you will have some film to watch here. So about orthopedics, the surgical genius, and so on.
Philosophy. Because which other civilization can say philosophy or spirituality itself? It's its brand. Only the Hindu civilization can say that. Such a beautiful concept we have. Similarly, the Sarigama Padanisa, the 7 notes. Every aspect we look at it.
So like that, it will be a mix of films and text reading material online and our multimedia presentations that we will be walking you through. So that is fundamentally about,
yes,
I mean, a lifetime is not enough to discover what all they knew about and what all they have shared with the world.
Yes, Mr. Sharma. Yes, Jonathan Crabtree has done wonderful work. We much appreciate what he's been doing, and we have been in touch with him and discussing with him various aspects. Much respect to what he's been doing. Certainly, high respect.
And so with that, I think we will just leave it open for questions if you have any.
Yeah, please put your questions in the chat box. I feel like you contributed to my mind so much tremendously in this 1 hour. And having both of you, you know, your powerful mind sharing and the way that you work together and supplement, it was just amazing to be a part of this. I appreciate it. I'm dropping the link to the course in the chat. I have a poll that I'm going to launch. Please let us know if you're interested in this course. You know, you could just fill it out. Yes, no, maybe I have questions. We can follow up. Wow, that was just amazing. Everything from the logo to sugar to Om to zero. That was beautiful. And I've seen it over the quarters you've been teaching at HUA. It's amazing, the progression and the feedback. And I'm looking forward to what you're doing this quarter, moving forward. And I hope our attendees will join you in this exciting course. It's $200 for one person, and each person thereafter is another $100. We want this to be something that families, that siblings, that parents and children can participate in together. That is another part of this mission that we're on. And we'll send out an email afterwards. If there are particular videos or links, we'll put your YouTube channel in there. We'll put your website in there, and that'll go out to everyone. The webinar recording will be available as well. Again, amazing presentation. I hope people can put some positive words in the chat and your thoughts on this. But let's get into some of the questions. So how many hours per week do you think are needed? And no, we're not doing courses for no credit. But how many hours a week do you think? It's 2 hours of just class time, right? Saturday and Sunday, 1 hour each. And then additionally, what do you think that people should be investing to make sure they get the most out of it? Keshavji is asking.
Yeah, we'll be happy to take questions, if any. The chat box, please do.
Yeah, not in the chat box. Please put your questions in the Q&A box. The chat box gets hard to keep track of. But that question of how many hours per week do you think people should be investing outside of class time to get the most out of this course and your time?
Say a couple of hours, be honest, because these aspects, most of these aspects we'll be discussing in the course. It is for those who want to sort of have interest, want to do some more self-study on their own. We are providing them additional inputs. It's again a choice for them to read and view those films or not. It's purely their choice, but it's available for them during the course time and much later also. because as we do the course and we start seeing layers after layers, I'm sure many of our friends there would want little more. Okay, I've tasted this bit. It's like typically like going to a Baskin Robbins ice cream parlor. You have they give you all in small spoons. Then you want 3, 4 varieties to flavors to taste, 2 more flavors to taste. It's like that. You want to go back next day like that. So the reading material that Dr. Hema has set up and done with a lot of effort. It has been a very laborious effort preparing. The reason is so that those who want additional material, it's available there.
Great.
See, this is like we said, there is fact, right? And during the course, we will be walking you through actually all these multimedia films and the multimedia capsules, as well as some of the short films, and also sections from our text. But when you come to relishing, when you come to the spiritual part, I'm sure each of us would like to read the words, and there is a much deeper idea that can be conveyed when you read the lines and read more in between the lines. So each of you will get your own experiences as you read those sentences. So in case you have more time, you can go through all that reading material. It is just there for you. I mean, we have it and we just want to share it with you. It's up to you whether you want to use it or not. But as such, if you attend the courses or on days that you're not able to, the recordings will be there for you to catch up on. And that itself is more than enough. And there will be a lot of, our courses are never a monologue, and we never say, actually, this session, very sadly, since you're so many, I think Ankur has put you on a kind of, Q&A mode. But normally all our sessions is like a highly interactive one where people
A
can
dialogue or a multi-log, because we encourage all our friends to keep asking questions in between. So it should be a very happy, happening course. It's not just we talk for about an hour and then we take questions. No, as we talk also, we keep on taking questions. We ask questions. So it's a happy journey that we'll all using our mind. Let's all use our mind, not just the brawn, the mind also, and go through beautifully through this course. That's all the whole idea. Let's enjoy it the next couple of months.
the idea is to just relish and see what you can take away from that for your own use
And
later.
use it wherever you want, whenever you go to the local temples.
Fundamentally, the relish will come when you go and share that with somebody else. So, knowledge by itself, only when you know, is never knowledge. And it's only when you start sharing it with somebody, it comes to be. Otherwise, it's only within you. It's only when you start sharing and it starts propagating, that's when you can really see the power. You will relish it yourself when you start sharing all these tidbits with your friends and other people you meet with. So,
Ankur, in this poll that you have put up,
Yeah.
we see that there are about 19 people who said maybe I have questions. So if there are any specific questions, we can take them now, so that when we are on, if there are any, because at least 19 people have mentioned that they have questions.
Yeah. So if you have specific questions about the course, please put them in. So right now we are in a webinar mode, so we don't get to see all of your beautiful faces from across the world, but the course is done in a meeting mode. And as was said, you're interacting. The recordings are available if you can't make it because of Monday or on Sunday or whatever you're doing. And again, it's appreciate you willing to share this knowledge and just put it out there so generously.
Ankur, just a moment. If you can allow me to screen share for a minute,
Yeah, you
I
can.
would like to show them how our course page really looks like.
Yeah, please.
Uh,
And if some people have an issue on a Saturday, Sunday morning because of springtime, uh, those weeks that they are not able to join the class physically for some reason, some prior engagements, they can always listen to the class later in the evening or the next day, and so it will not go waste for them. So it's going to be available for them, this course material, because quite a few people have sort of joined into the class little later and sort of answered questions and asked doubts. So it's a continuous dialogue. So if 1 or 2 days of this course period is not conducive for various personal reasons, no problem. You can still take the course because you have the recordings to go back to any time at your leisure, at your convenience.
See, all the recordings usually will be there. Uh, like for exploring Hinduism, again, we had the readings. So the reading link would be here. So, and HUA is wonderful in that once they give you an ID, it is there with you for however long you
Yes.
want to use it. And you can always keep going back to the course and going through the readings and the films. So your class recordings are here. So the video recordings would be here, and this was a 16 session course. So you have all the recordings and you can keep
Go
going
back
into
to it
each
any
one.
number of times.
And every day you would have, for every session, there would be a Zoom link that you can, there would be a Zoom link here that you can come and then take on. So that's about.
And those who want, you can always go to our website, bharatnyan.com, and you can see all the books available on Kindle, films, all that. Okay, thank you so much, Bhargavaji, for for calling us Parvati Parmeshwar.
Interestingly, I don't know if you said that, knowing that shloka, okay? There is the shloka which ends saying that communication should be like Parvati Parameshwara, which means that what I think, I must, what occurs in my mind is what should come out as a thought, should come out as words, and should come out as speech. And
Wow.
that is what you should hear, you should imbibe, you should
Assimilate.
understand and assimilate.
That's called Parvati Parmeshwar. And this is the opening shloka by Kalidasa in his classic Raghuvamsha. He calls this communication as Parvati
Yes.
Parameshwar.
Yes. Jagatapitaram Mande Parvati Parameshwara. Yes.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much.
So we've had about 66 people complete the survey. Please just click yes, no, maybe. If you have a question, please put it in now. The course Lalitji is available to people outside of the USA. We have a
Yes.
special discount for Girmitia countries like Caribbean, Trinidad, Tobago, some of those places, but we're keeping the fees the same for Europe and Bharat. But so please, wherever you are in the world, as long as the timing works, and even if it doesn't, you can still participate. We are happy to share this with everyone across the world. I don't know if we want to get into details about specific questions like the similarities between Amun and Hindu temples, or do we want to focus on briefly?
Yes, actually, Amun and Hindu temples, there is an amazing connect. One of the last sessions, the final session in the 20 is about when we talk about soft power, the Hindu soft power, we call it Krinvanto Vishwam Aryam, meaning let's make the world a refined, noble place. So in that, we will be showing about the Hindu connect with various different geographies of the world. And in Egypt, we will see how the temple in Karnak, Luxor, is very similar to the temples of India. And Bhargavaji, I think your safe temples,
Very much.
GHHF, and so on. You will actually see this very similarity. So we are not only talking, and from that we will understand the idea of a temple. It's not just a place of worship with the Hindu thought. It is the center, the pillar of society itself, and which was also the same for the Egyptians.
Yes, it was. Both civilizations were actually very sort of
Mirrored.
She actually used the word. I was about to say the word. She used the word. See, wonderful. So use the word. So there it is. And Vikram Sachinji, thank you so much for nice words a couple of times on the chat box. Yes, we have enjoyed our interactions with you through the course.
With you and your sons, Omkar and Keshav.
So we look forward to again interacting with you and your family in this course. Certainly, yes, it's been our pleasure. And yes, we would like to, Bhargavaji, yes, we can interact and take it forward. Yes, you let us know, and you can email us, and we'll take a discussion forward on the temples issue always.
One kind of, let me reframe Arunji's question, kind of focused on Bharat and why isn't it used, but or change the name of India to Bharat. But more broadly, how have you seen your work manifest and spread and share and impact either government of India, the Hindu diaspora, American universities, which we're trying to do over here, but how have you seen your work grow and share and expand and impact?
Couple of things. There are many ways they have shared, and many ways it's had an impact. One key thing I'll tell you is that there's a lot of youngsters who are really yearning for this knowledge across different countries, and that has been very heartening for us. It's not just the old people who are retired looking for it. No, it's the real youngsters in their teens and 20s and 30s who really want it. That's what has been our big each time when we do this, it's they coming back and ask us more questions. They're giving us ideas further for research or ideas for further thought. So that's been wonderful aspect. Yes, off and on we have been able to interact with the government officials on different aspects. For example, on the Save the Ramasetu that happened about 10, 12 years back, we provided a lot of content for it. Yes, which were mentioned in our films also. We made a film called Ramasetu itself, which was shared with the Supreme Court and all other bodies on the subject. Yes, very much. And we also gave it to Dr. Abdul Kalam when he was there then to share it thereon, which we did. Similarly, we have also for the Ayodhya Ram Janmabhoomi case, we prepared a full document called, one of our books is called Ayodhya War and Peace, which for which the benedictory note then was given by Gurudev Sri Ravi Shankar, who was part of the panel that negotiated the deal then.
The media,
they were the part of the mediators, so this product was a document then, certainly yes. And also the foreword for the book was given by Parasaran, the Padma Vibhushan Parasaran, the leading lawyer who actually fought the Ram Janmabhoomi case in the Supreme Court. So he used this as one of the many documents that he had.
A nanogenarian who stood and fought the case.
Argued the case.
Argued the case. He never sat when he argued.
So that's way. So he also actually is the foreword for our book.
But
used it.
Of late, we have been doing a lot of courses like with for the Americans, we are doing it through HUA, and also the timings are now being set so that people who are in suitable time zones, like in Europe as well, can join these courses, the Caribbeans and so on. We are happy to see some of our students from the Indian universities have also joined this webinar today. We saw a few of them on the chat. So we are opening up and doing a lot more courses. So
with a lot more university students, that's our strength. And thank you, Dr. Geeta Atreya, for joining in, and for all the students, other students for different parts.
Yeah, she's joining us from Delhi, and it's quite late at night for India, and still there are a lot of people from India who have come to this webinar. A lot of friends who have joined.
Yes, actually, if you go to Turkey, also a lot of Indian temples you'll see in old Turkey. It's the places like Anatolia, Bahaskoy. If you look at the structure of the temple, architecture there, you'll find a lot of similarities. Unfortunately, all the upper layer of the temples are destroyed. They would just go to the basement ruins. So very similar. You'll see all across the world.
Yeah, it feels like a community,
Something between Krishna and Heracles, and the influence, because Turkey is a place where it was a melting point of civilization, and there was a particular era where the kings tried to make the East and West meet, and you find a lot of proofs and evidences for that.
We actually spent close to a month in Turkey doing all the research there on site.
So we hope we can share that in between whenever the opportunity arises.
As part of the course.
Yeah, beautiful. And it feels like you're building a community, you're inclusive. It's a beautiful thing to be a part of. So Billy RG asks, can you have a permanent subscription to these course materials? We make them accessible while you're enrolled in the course and, a few weeks after the course, but we're, then it's in a PDF format. You do what you do with it, but we're not just opening it up and emailing it out to everyone, but you have access when you're enrolled to the course. Can a couple do a course together? We're encouraging everyone to join the course as an individual, but if you have one and then plus one, we'll cost less, right? For the first person, it's $200. The additional person is $100 after that. And it allows you to have your own email ID, to log in, to answer questions, to have that Zoom account, all that kind of details. So we encourage people, if there are two of you.
Can I intercept here, Ankulji? Can I intercept here?
Yeah.
When a couple is taking the course here, sure, couples can certainly take the course. There in America, certainly yes, you can do that, and it'll be wonderful. We look forward because there'll be a lot of nice interactions. Actually, last time also when we took the course, there is 3-4 couples that took the course, and they interacted among themselves over their dinner, and they shared that information what they interacted. It's nice because that's the whole idea, to bring back the discussion of Hindu contributions, exploring Hinduism back to the dining table, to the dinner table. That's the beauty of it. So that's when the family bonding also happens. Otherwise, if we talk about a Superman film or some other film, that alone is there. So we have to get back some of our cultural aspects on the discussion table.
No,
That's
and
one
it's
of
good when the family does it together, because then you all come on the same plane. So you all become, equally
aligned.
aligned. Yes.
Thank you, Sunanda ji.
Yes.
Thank you so much for all your support. We really look forward to discussing with you again, the course, Sunanda ji.
So two people, Chris and Anita, kind of ask similar questions. What helped you spark this course in particular, but also what inspired you to start Bharatnyan itself?
Like I said, when we started, it was like in 96 to 2000 time period when we were traveling.
1996 to the year 2000.
And that time it was there was no social media and no access.
This was all we have started the work in the pre-Google era, which looks what you call Jurassic or ancient to many of the youngsters now.
It was Babelfish and Alta Vista and things like that if you had to search for anything. And so access to information was very difficult, but we were seeing various other civilizations showcasing their own roots and knowledge, while access to the Indian civilizations, the Hindu civilizations knowledge base was difficult for two reasons. One is access to the physical material, quite old and they're all preserved. And second is like I said, the mindset, and which is very important. Therefore, if you look at all our courses, we try to go back to the thinking. It is not just facts. I mean, you have many, today you can find many places where the facts about the civilization is available. What you need to understand is the mindset of the civilization. And that is more important. And that lies with the scholars. So traditional scholars, we spoke to them, and then we try to collate the
That's the key word. We collate data. And actually what Bhargavaji is saying is very right. So pre-Google era,
more authentic indeed.
No. So I have a term for this. So today Googleshwara is all encompassing. Okay. Yes. But Googleshwara is fairly recent.
Maheshwara is more encompassing.
That's why Maheshwara.
That's good. A few more questions. I think we can get through them. Maybe we'll. Bhargavaji asked about Adam and Newton's laws. Originally, Bharati Sciences. Maybe illuminate that a little bit, or is that something you want to get into the course? It's in Q&A box. And then also Sunandaji asks about Sankhyan Sutras.
Yeah.
Are you going to cover that?
That is about, yes, we do have information about what you call, we can discuss about Kannada. Actually, Kannada is a name given to him. His original name is Rishi Uluku. That's a name his parents gave him. And Kannada is because of he could enumerate. The idea of enumeration of all these atoms, everything. That's why he got the name Kannada. So that certainly.
Actually, we will be touching upon these aspects a little bit in this course. And some of our friends who have joined today from the Sri Sri University here, they just did a course with us on contemplation, global landscape of contemplation knowledge. And so there we covered all these body of Indian knowledge and the Vaiseshika thought, the Nyaya, and how all of these are reflected in arts as well. So
that is probably, this is a course we can do in one of the future quarters with Hindu University America. the contemplative part of the Hindu mind, there's a lot of contemplation happening.
It can be an extension to this course subsequently.
Because this is Hindu contribution in the realm of mind. So that can be on the contemplation of the mind that we can do that. There we'll certainly be dealing with Vaisheshika and Kannada and all that.
Beautiful, beautiful. I dropped in the chat again the link to the course. Please register now. This is a long journey we're on. This is just one webinar talking about one course, but obviously we're glad to be working together on this important journey for Hindus across the world. Thank you for joining us on this webinar. Closing thoughts, maybe shloka, mantra, chant, or just closing thoughts on the webinar, and where do you want to go with this?
I mean, fundamentally, like we said, we chose the symbol of infinity itself because the contributions are countless, and you very nicely spoke about a journey, and it is not just one course or one webinar which can make a difference. It is a lifelong journey and a journey of many lives and births that we as Hindus believe in. And for that, we have to make a start somewhere to understand that and work towards developing that mindset. And we feel that this course that way will give a lot of insight into that. I mean, when we try to understand the concept of zero and infinity and what they mean and how they came about, they are not mere numbers. So what they really stand for, and you will be astonished by the immensity of the thought they convey. Today, unfortunately, modern maths just see them as two numbers. It's only some of the really profound scientists who understand the Purnamada and all that.
Purnamidam is actually, see, it is actually a definition of infinity. This will be dealing with in the course. The whole shloka, what you mentioned now, that is, I think S.R. Venkatji has mentioned it, we'll be dealing with in the course, how it is a wonderful definition of infinity. Because we need layers to discuss it. Obviously, we can't do it in 5 minutes. But I think there was a Dhavalji was asked, he said there are some questions he's put up that he said within 5 minutes, can Ankurji ask this question?
How did you come up with that course title?
Yeah. Just the course title, what was the path? I mean, you kind of covered it, but if you want to end on why it's called the contributions in the realm of mind.
This course is actually 2 components. Yeah. Hindu contribution to the world. Part A is in the realm of matter, which is what we did 1 quarter earlier.
And there are 2 independent parts. I mean, you don't need to do matter to do mind or mind to do matter. You can do both. You can do either one of them. But okay, the point is contributions to the world. The fundamental thing that we will be highlighting is, one, what is it that we conceived and we created for ourselves and we shared with the world? That is one side. But how has the world received it and given it back to others as well? And in the process, what kind of morphing has happened? So that is also important to understand. So we will be showcasing that as well. So on one side, how did it go from here? On the other side, how has it further got transmitted all over the world is also what we will be seeing. So both aspects, it's almost like kind of a timeline, time travel of thought. So that's what we're going to be seeing.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you so much.
No more open questions. Beautiful webinar. Thank you for joining us all. Dhanyavad. Namaste all.
Thank you all friends for joining in. It was so nice interacting with all of you. It was really, we enjoyed it. I'm sure you, from the chat box, you can see most of you also enjoyed it. Thank you so much. It's been our pleasure.
Bhargavaji is giving new thoughts. Women has to sit on because of 10. Dhanyavada Bhargavaji. Thank you. The name of your meaning itself means somebody who is aglow with a lot of intelligence.
That's what the word Bhargava means, which we dealt in the earlier course.
In matter, yes.
Matter,
Thank
yes.
you so much, Ankurji, for giving us this opportunity to share this with people. We always enjoy having such sessions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, all of you, for your appreciation. Quite a few of you appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Namaste. Dhanyavada.
Namaste.
Hope to see you all in
In
the
the course.
course.
That's an important
Yes.
thing, very important.
Thank you.